Welcome to KamaKast, where we explore all things consciousness, culture, and connection. Today's guest is Barz. He is a Brazilian-born, LA-based DJ, producer, and live performer, and he just hit #1 on Beatport and has performed on some of the biggest festival stages in electronic music. His latest album, Decompress, and his latest release, Coming Home, are out now. Let's get into it. Welcome, Barz. Thank you so much for being here on KamaKast. Why don't you take a moment to introduce yourself and tell us who you are?
Yeah, thank you, Kylie, for having me here. Thank you, Kama, for the opportunity. Yeah, I'm Barz, Brazilian American DJ and producer. Currently living in LA, running a little studio, running a little label now as well, and back in the scene, making music and having a good time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, kind of speaking on that, you mentioned that you are, a Brazilian native and you own your own, studio now and you're in the music scene. So before all of that, I even know that you were in a metal band, which I definitely want to touch on. But before all of that, take me back to like the beginning. When was it that you felt that music was starting to become something more for you to the point where you're doing it as a career?
Yeah, so I started pretty young on music, especially on drums. I think I was around like 8, 9 years old already. I was already like playing. My brother had like an older friend, and I saw him playing drums. I was like, I want to do that. And I was like super young. So I was lucky to, go to drum school like very young. So by like 10, 11 years old, I was already taking lessons. And that took off kind of quick for me. I was around like 13 years old, and my good friend from school, her older brother played on a band with the dudes from like high school. They're all like 18, 19, finishing. They had like a proper like punk hardcore band. And she was like, hey, like their drummer is actually leaving the band. You want to do like an audition? I was like, shit, yeah.
Wait, how old are you?
I was 13 years old, 13 to 14 years old, yeah. And I did the
love this
audition, I did the audition, and like all these other drummers came. I learned the songs, and they actually kept me in the band. They were like, they were like, he's not the best, but like he's really good for his age. He's gonna be good. And then like they, brought me in, and so I started actually playing like smallish venues and underground bars. I was like 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, 15 years old, we're already like kind of like touring a little bit. Yeah, because the band already had like a cassette tape. It was called Mike Get Out.
Nice.
Yeah, so I had a little cassette tape, and that developed into, the metal band and all that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. So you went from doing that, playing the drums, and then now you're a DJ producer in the electronic, field. And your name is Barz. Like, what is that? What was that transition? Does that name mean anything to you?
Yeah. So kind of the transition went somewhat natural because with the band, it was called Envy Dust. Me and Daniel, the guy one of the vocalists, we kind of took care of like the electronics of the band. So we had like synthesizers, and me as a drummer, I will like make like kind of like the backtracks that will go with the live show. So that gave me like an introduction to, synthesizers and like programming electronic drums and playing on top of that. So that was kind of like how that started, listening to a lot of like Pink Floyd and Radiohead. Those were like kind of like the first like introductions to electronic music blended with rock music.
Very cool.
So yeah, after we stopped playing with the band, I was already DJing a little bit. I had like a blog called 420, which was kind of like, about it,
I wonder what that's
about.
What
it's about. So I had a blog called 420, and I started DJing, but people weren't like really fucking with it. Then I was like, I'm just gonna throw like a blog party. So I started doing like a party for my blog, and I brought all the homies from the rock scene to the party.
Wow.
And that really took off super quickly. Like in a matter of a year, I was doing like a party for like 200 people to a year after like 1,500 people.
What? Wait, was this in Brazil or
this
here?
In Brazil.
Wow.
This in Brazil. So this was after the band was already like broke up and went to do our own things. I was like, I'm gonna start DJing. So
that's
but yeah,
awesome.
so it was really fun. It was like more indie house, indie dance with rock music. Yeah.
Wow. It seems like you just had such a cool trajectory so far, like from 13
A lot of
to
fun.
playing to 1,500 people on your
Yeah.
second time. That's insane. That's awesome. And so now you've gone from a block party, which is actually insanely huge for a block party,
Yeah.
but going from that to the Elements Festival, Lightning in a Bottle.
Yeah.
So what has that experience been like for you to go from that to those big stages, and what has it taught you about what music does to people, especially at festivals?
Yeah, I think it's like I have like all the experience from the metal band from playing like bigger shows. We did have the opportunity to tour a lot of big bands and play a lot of shows for different festivals. We toured Europe. We toured with like the Used back then. So we had like experience with like big crowds. So like being on stage,
nothing,
it's just like it's just what you do, right? Like it's like a rinse and repeat. And so when the opportunity comes, it just feels natural. It's just what you're doing, right? You just go ahead and you do it. So there's not a lot of difference between playing for like 30 people or playing to like 300,000 people or like 3,000 people, 30,000.
Really?
Yeah, it's just like it's about you and how you perform, right? So like if you're confident with your art and what you're doing, it doesn't really matter, how many people are actually there to, check it out. It's just like, are you confident? Are you ready for it? That doesn't really matter how many people are there. Actually, when there's more people, maybe it's easier because you can't really like, lock in eyes or you can't see their reaction to it.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit easier. You just go and do your thing, So I think like that part hasn't been, too much of a problem. Actually, it worked in my favor. I guess when I started DJing, I was like, all right, cool. This is even easier. I just have to like press a couple buttons, and like hype
like,
the
it's
crowd.
fine,
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
It's not,
It's not
there
easy,
is a mastery to that, about, identifying what the crowd wants and playing the right track. There's timing to that, but it's definitely another game than like playing with a live band.
Yeah.
There's less things involved that can go wrong.
Right.
But when it goes wrong on the DJ world, it's worse because when it goes wrong, like the music stops and like everybody
Right.
boo. But like,
Has that happened to you before?
oh yeah, it happens
my
to everybody.
gosh,
Yeah,
that would,
oh
like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
would-
You have to own it. You have to
Yeah?
own it. Yeah,
Yeah,
just like with the band, if you kind of like commit a mistake, you kind of go around it and like pretend, just don't let them know that you commit a mistake,
Right.
and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just kind of own the mistake. Like I was on purpose,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
that's
it does
funny.
happen as a DJ too. Yeah, all the time. It can always happen. It's, if you're not playing like a pre-recorded set, it can always happen. Like
Yeah.
something, especially with electronics, something can break. You
Sure.
can like press a button you shouldn't.
Or
Yeah.
I've seen like some people, if they're behind you, they'll like push a button on
Oh,
accident
yeah.
or something like that.
That happens. Believe it or not, it happens, and happens a lot with me. I don't know why, but it happens a lot, especially.
Letting them come too close.
Yeah, I have this electronic thing that I play like a pad. Sometimes I bring it and I play like percussion on it. It's like I don't understand what happens, but every time I bring that to the stage, someone's gonna like try to play.
What?
Every time. Every time.
That's crazy.
The best case scenario, they ask me if they can play in the middle of my set. And the worst case scenario, they just go and do
What?
it. Yep. Every time, I'm telling you. I think they see me doing it and they're like,
Oh,
oh,
I
he's
could
just
do
like
that.
banging on that.
Oh,
That's so
my
easy. I can do
goodness.
it too. And then like they just go jump right in it. Or they're like, yo, can I play that? I'm like,
What? You're like, I'm literally.
it's crazy every time. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is insane.
You're
but
too
every
nice,
time,
I
yeah.
think, maybe.
Yeah, but it is funny.
Wow.
I'm like, sorry, no,
Yeah, that's so
Yeah,
funny. I
yeah.
mean, the way that I can kind of relate to that is I grew up dancing, and so like some people think they can just do it or whatever, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, it's not that easy. It's not that
It's
easy.
not that, I'm making it look easy because I'm good at it. And
Yeah,
it's
because
probably
you
the
did it so
same.
many times,
Exactly.
and especially like playing like on top of electronic music is way harder
Yeah.
because like it's very locked in. Everything's very like the metronome is like locked in. Like there's no fluctuation. There's
Right.
nobody like feeling your BPM and getting into you, right? So you
Yeah.
have to be very precise. If you're a little bit
Right.
off, everyone can notice.
Everyone knows.
So it's like
man.
it's even harder. Don't do it.
Yeah. All right, leave
That's
him
not
alone when
easy,
he's on
yeah.
the set, guys.
Like I think maybe the last time that I played here,
Shut
like I
up.
shit, you know, like I was kind of by myself. Then like this couple got in the stage on the back, and I love that people are behind me dancing.
Right.
Couple got in the stage. The guy came in, said hi to me, said hi, give me a little hug. The girl came straight to the decks. I was playing a track on the left deck. I had just like synced the track on the right one, ready to do a transition.
Right.
Like 10 seconds before I'm going to start put the next track, she comes in straight to the deck and does like, you know, on the decks. You know, like you go like on a vinyl, like
That's
ticky. Hey, she just goes straight to the thing. It's like, woo! She does like that on her ear and just like ticky. I'm like, bro, if that was the deck that was playing, the song would go and stop. You know.
Oh my god.
I looked at her. I was like, get the fuck out. For the first time, I was like pissed. I was like,
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here. Like I'm being so nice. I'm
Yeah.
like letting you here. Get on stage.
Yeah.
And how you think you can just
That's
come in like
crazy.
chow my shit, you know?
Yeah. No, it's true though. Like that is like the audacity that some
Yeah,
people
it's
have
crazy.
sometimes. It really boggles my mind. Jesus. Okay. So you're more than just a DJ. You're also a producer and an audio engineer, and you own your own studio. So that's a lot of things. Just walk me through like what your typical day would be like, and kind of give us the insight of what it is that you actually do.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's just like I think those are just like a compilation of things that I've been doing my whole life. Like I never stopped doing any of them, so it starts like just like compiling on like skills that you have. Yeah, the studio is just like my passion since the band. I went for actually engineering school super young. Me and one of my band members, we both like graduated, and we used to produce a lot of the band stuff already back then. So
Oh.
record,
Wow.
guitars, vocals. Actually, the first album was recorded in my house.
Really?
Yeah.
How
yeah.
old were you?
I was probably 17, 18 years
What?
old.
That's
yeah,
insane.
yeah. Yeah, we
Okay.
recorded guitars in my mom's bedroom back then. Yeah,
Oh my
Yeah, so
gosh.
the first Envy Dust album was besides the drums. The drums were recorded in a real studio, but the rest was all recorded in my house. So yeah, we started young with that, and just like an evolution, right? So after the band, so I did the electronic stuff for the band. After that, I started DJing. When I started DJing, I was like, I think I can do this, you know. And I saw like was some artists like the French house stuff, like the Ad Bangers,
Right.
like Justice, Mr. Oizo, all that kind of like French house movement that came from like indie into kind of like I was like, wait a minute, you can like be like dressed like a rocker and actually play like electronic music. This is so cool, and that like just exploded in my brain and made me like, okay, how you do this? So I already had like I was playing with Ableton back then already, so it just kind of kept going and trying to learn. And then I had some other friends in my community who were also producers, and then I started learning electronic music production. This was still back in Brazil, and back probably like 2008, something like that. 2009 is when I kind of like started learning that. But I was a drummer, not much of like piano player or nothing like that. So then slowly developing skill, right? And then I moved here officially around 2014. I already had like some good like understanding of music production. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go to LA to try to learn more and maybe do that, right? That was the plan back then. I had some friends here from the rock bands who had like signed me with the label, and they were like playing. So like, okay, I know some people in the music industry.
Sure.
Let's just like give it a shot. So I came here and slowly started building my studio, my equipment, and all that, my gear. I can say that now, after over 10 years, I have enough to say that I have like a decent music studio.
Yeah.
It's like a hoarder. You're like a hoarding, like slowly
Like all
hoarding.
the things.
Yeah, slowly hoarding this and that. You're like, okay, this is a studio now.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you say that you came here and that was your plan. What
Yeah.
shifted then?
Just like having to, live. Like
Yeah.
first of all, the
LA be expensive.
LA is like you have to survive LA. It's not easy. It's not cheap. Second, like immigration.
Yeah.
As an immigrant, you have to deal with immigration. So that all that came first, right? You have your dream, but like there's all these hurdles that you have to cross, all these barriers you have to accomplish to start from the beginning as somebody that's already here, right? So like
Yeah.
first thing, pay the bills. Second thing, find housing.
Right.
Third thing, find a way to stay in this country legally.
Sure. Yeah.
So you can work legally, so you can, start a label, so you can tour and make money. So
Right.
all that has to come first. Then, okay, all the basics are covered. Now I can start thinking about art again, right?
Right.
And so, like, it's a process. It's definitely not something that, like, oh, great, I would just, like, grab a plane, go to LA after Burning Man and just,
Yeah.
be a famous DJ. Like,
Yeah.
no, it doesn't work like that,
I hear you. I hear you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's most like when you're young and you don't
Yeah.
know and you're ignorant. You're like, oh, it's gonna happen to me.
Yeah.
For me, it's fine. But you're doing it and you're
Yeah.
here, and it's been awesome.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
heard you DJ. I think you're amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I finally feel that I am like where I wanted to be when I first got here, like on the start. Like all right, cool. Like I have like knowledge. I have like opportunities, small opportunities coming up.
Yeah.
I have like a place to actually craft my art, and I have knowledge and a good vibe to express myself. So
Yeah.
I feel good.
Yeah. And even though like the process that you just explained does take time, you still are ahead of a lot of people because
Yeah.
you were able to, not only learn from such a young age, but you've also played in front of a lot of people already. So I think that's a great thing
Yeah.
to put under your belt as well.
Yeah, again, with all that, I definitely think it's very important, but you just have to really, like, in LA especially, what I learned all these years is you cannot look to the sides. You just cannot compare yourself. Just look forward. Just do
Yeah.
your thing. Opportunities will come. Maybe I can surf one. Maybe I
Yeah.
can't, but
Yeah.
as long as I'm doing what I'm doing, this is just who I am. It's not like I'm not trying to be anybody. I'm not trying to like, this is just who I am. Like I'm in too deep into it that it's like too late to change it.
Right.
So it's like, there's nothing I can do. It's just what I do. If
Yeah.
somebody asks this is what I do. Like, do I have a 9 to 5? Yeah. Do I have to pay the bills? Yeah. There's responsibilities. Yes. But like, who are you and what do you do? This is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I always do, no matter what. No matter whatever happens, no matter where I am, that's what I'm gonna do because it's just like part of my personality, right?
Yeah. And that's just like such a beautiful thing about being an artist, right? It's like it doesn't really matter how big the stage is or what you're doing, as long as you're doing what you love, that's
Yeah.
what matters.
I think so, and that's LA for you too. It's very easy to get caught on
Yeah.
the hype or looking your friends or like people around you being
Sure.
successful. Or like you're like, oh, I don't understand why this guy got famous, why it's not happening to me.
Yeah.
Like if you start tapping into that type of energy, it's gonna go away.
Yeah.
That's not really how
Yeah.
things work.
Yeah, it's
just
like a mindset.
do your thing. Don't really compare yourself. If you're like experienced enough, like I party enough to know when a track have soul, when it's fire, when you can dance. Like, so
Yeah.
I am my own reference.
Yeah.
I don't need like another reference because that's the reference. I'm the reference. I party enough to know what fucks,
Yes,
Some other
absolutely.
people don't, but hey, that's why I'm here doing what I do. And maybe one
Yeah.
day you get there too, but there's no cutting corners,
Yeah.
There's not really cutting corners with that stuff because at the end of the day with music, it's about a vibe. And like, or you have it or you don't.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You can't buy that stuff.
Yeah.
You
You
know?
either have taste or
Maybe
you
you
don't.
can. Maybe you can.
Yeah, maybe one day. Let's not hopefully not get there.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to celebrate some wins for
Yeah.
you. The fact that you got to be your track hit #1 on Beatport.
Yeah.
And now you're also following this new release of Coming Home with Henry
Mm-hmm.
Pope, BL Suede, and a remix by legend Mark Farina.
That's right.
How did this collaboration come together? What is it what was working? Like,
Yeah.
what does it feel like doing that with an artist of that caliber?
Yeah. Henry Pope, shout out for him, big homie. He plugged me in a lot in LA. We've been making music for the past 3 years. He's a more established DJ in the scene. Played a bunch of festivals, and this track we actually made it back in 2024, end of 24. And so he introduced me to Brandon, BL Suede. We had a session in my house. We kind of like cooked the track together and then recorded. And we've been just shopping this track for labels. We're being like, made all these other tracks. But like lately, especially after the release of my album, I've been like very like, all right, I have so much music. This needs to go out. So we really started pushing to just release music. That's why I made the label because, that's the hardest part nowadays. There's so much music that it's really hard to break through the noise out there. So it was that release is all on Henry. He's the one who got the hookup with the label. He's the one who got Mark Farina to jump in the remix. It's just like really cool. It's great. Like, hey, please take the stems of the song, make it better. That's why it's there. Let it go. Just put it out. So that was Henry's touch right there, and shout out.
Yeah, very cool. And so on top of that, you also have a new album release, right?
The album was a good one. That one was funny. It was kind of like I wanted to put an album, but I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know if I have the tracks. Then like I straight up like partied a bunch, and then like I took some meds, some stuff, and then I
non-disclosures.
slept. No, I slept.
Oh, okay.
To sleep, and like I was like, I need to sleep. I partied too much and need to chill. So I got some stuff, some tea, and like went to sleep. Woke up all sweaty, and I dream a lot. I dream so much. I almost like I'm tired of dreaming. Like I have like straight up 2 lives, like every night, and I remember all my dreams like crazy.
Really?
Like, yes, it's
That's
very
impressive.
Very weird.
But it's also like tiring. I've heard.
It is tiring. I tell my girlfriend all the time. I was like, here we go again. I'm gonna go second life. Let's go. And like and I go
is it
and
like
I
a
sleep.
continued timeline, or is it always different?
No, in the same night, yes. Like I'll wake up, maybe to go to the bathroom, or my dog barks, and I got back to sleep when I got back to the same setting.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So it was one of those where I dreamed that I released an album, like an LP, like a vinyl album. So I look at it, and I had this album, and it was like on a release kind of like date of the album. And I woke up, I was like, damn, that was so cool. And then I was like, why don't I release an album? And I was just going to release 2 songs, Decompress and Kitty with BL Suede. I was like, dude, I have so many tracks. Let me just do it, So instead of releasing 2 tracks, I went back to the studio, and I was just like, okay, this one is okay, this one, and this one, and this one. I was like, all right. When I looked, I was like, damn, there's like 10 tracks. Wow. Then I kind of like trimmed down to 8 because that's what I was able to accomplish in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I had to kind of mix and master really quick and send it out. So I wanted that to be up and running on Spotify before Elements, because like I didn't felt that my repertoire on Spotify really represented the music that I was playing it.
Sure.
So I was like, I want people that see my name in there go and like actually hear some fresh stuff, or like something that kind of like
Good
it's more aligned to what I'm doing right now. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you describe this decompression album as something that helps people de-stress and things like this. Like, can you? So you say that you had this dream and stuff, but what made you want to go that route?
So Decompress is like kind of like my favorite track of the album. Is also like maybe the latest one that I produced within the 8 tracks of the album, of the record. And it's like really like it was very natural how I wrote that. And I think it's just like represents like a lot of what I've been feeling, like just like on the creative process, because I have a 9 to 5, so I work 9 to 5 from home, thank God.
Yeah.
And then I work the studio from 5 to 10 every day. So like 9 to 5, actually 9 to 4, not 4:30.
Don't tell.
Take a little break,
Yeah.
and then I run the studio every day from
Wow.
5 to 10, sometimes a little later. So I think like Decompress was, at least the lyrics, kind of like, I don't know. It's just like it's me on the vocals. So it's just like I just put a bunch of effects on it and just like kind of like record it. I usually record like the demo. I was like, this is not bad,
Yeah.
And so did that. So I think that's what kind of like represents. And also like, I think the word decompress just comes from Burning Man, from being a burner. That's like a big part of my journey in this country, was actually the spark that made me move here, was the friendship and the art that I felt in the burn back in 2013.
Wow.
That really like broke me. I was like, I just gotta go on this
yeah.
thing like at least 10 more times. There's so
Yeah.
much to do, and I made so many good friends. So decompress, like the word came because of the burn. Like people say that after Burning Man, they're like, oh, like you just like party so much, you like just didn't hydrate for a whole week. Now you need to
Yeah.
like decompress.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like that was the term and the idea behind the lyrics for that track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Side note, are you going this year?
Not this year. No, not this year.
No.
I've been to so many burns, and
Yeah.
next year I'm gonna go. It's my 40th birthday.
Ooh,
Yeah. So I'm
okay.
like, it's special and I gotta go.
Yeah, of course.
And this year I did a couple of music festivals. I traveled to Japan.
Very
So I was
cool.
like, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
And, I gotta make music
Got it.
to play
That makes
next year.
sense. Yeah.
And again, like, I've been to the burn enough times to don't have too much FOMO.
Sure.
I mean, right now we're kind of close to the burn, so I
Yeah.
started getting like, oh, I want to go.
I know.
But at the same time, it's like I have a thing that I say, like, the burn is always going to be there.
Yeah.
So, there's the
Well.
right time to go. And I want to go with, like, a little bit more prepared. I want to have a really good burn next time.
I get that.
Because I always just, like, wing it. I'm like crazy
That's
hippie. I
insane.
just go
Wow.
and just dream, just sleep maybe once.
What? That's insane.
I sleep on Wednesday. That's
Oh
my
my
night to sleep.
goodness.
I arrive on like Saturday night, and then I sleep on Wednesday. That's like, and then
Wow.
Thursday morning is like purple party disco.
Yeah.
So that's when I'm always there. So I'm always fresh, and then that goes till
You
Sunday.
got it. See, it's only my second time going,
Yeah.
so I'm still bright-eyed,
It's good.
bushy-tailed, and
Yeah.
all the things.
Yeah, it's the best party in the world.
Yeah,
It's
it really
still
is.
really good, no
I used
matter
to think
what.
it was too much or it was overhyped or whatever, but then when you go, you're like, oh no, I understand why people talk about this. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
The burn, it's gonna be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
And maybe in the middle of it, you'll be like, "This sucks," but
Yeah.
when you leave Playa and you're getting back and you're decompressing,
Yeah.
you look back and you're like, you know what? This was exactly what I wanted to happen.
Yeah.
It's kind of weirdly magical.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
is.
But it is. It might be some hippie talk, but you gotta go.
Yeah.
You gotta go experience.
There's
gotta
something
get out of
about
your
it.
comfort zone. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, talking about that and like decompressing and stuff. So obviously, as you know, as someone who's partied and been around like music festivals and stuff, like sound frequency, rhythm, like all of that has measurable effects on the body. And so, did you, when you were creating this album and you were choosing these tracks, like, did you take that into consideration, or what was that process?
Yeah.
Like,
My first consideration for the tracks that I selected for the album were actually to have tracks with people that represent my circle of friendship and music in the city. So that was kind of like my first idea for the album was, hey, I want to have an album that is not just focused about me. Is actually focused with all these other artists that have been collaborating in the past like 2 to 3 years.
wow.
So I made sure that I had like as many tracks with like friends as possible on the album, because I was like, like I cannot do this alone. I never did this alone. I was why my metal band was somewhat successful, because I wasn't alone.
Right.
I wasn't doing that by myself. We were all sharing that workload of distribution, of like going making the merch and like all a little bit. Sure, one can always say do more than the other, but at the end of the day, that was like a team effort. So I was like, I cannot do anything alone. So I need help of other people. And one thing that like a good friend of mine in Brazil, who's like a big A&R, when I visit a couple of years ago, he was like, man, like you just gotta find friends in LA and people that are close by to you, like in your neighborhood, in your circle of friends, to collaborate with you and create like a scene.
Yeah.
This is how you start like actually getting things done. And so it's kind of what I did. You know, everybody that's in on the album are like local from LA. So we got like a track with Techno Tupac, with Kita Mummy, with Mac Hill, which is a big friend of mine, great artist, guitar player, bass player, and with my friend Los and Henry and Brandon. So there's all these friends that are part of the album as well.
Wow.
It was kind of like that was the idea, to just really
That's
like
amazing.
get everybody together to, you know, that was like my criteria, you know, yeah.
And so, kind of on that, you know, when you are an artist in LA, what is your opinion on people showing up for each other? Because, I mean, me as an event producer, for example, it's kind of hard for me to get my friends to show up sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
But, like, for you, what has your experience been with, you know, people showing up for you or other artists coming through for you?
Well, it's not easy. I don't think like, you know, you have to really set lower expectations because, you know, no one's going to show up for you more than you show up for yourself. So definitely, I think you can always be more, right? Our expectations are always right here. But at the same time, like when you're not there yet, or you're still creating momentum, I think a great like advice that is something that I use for myself is to don't burn too many of your chances to have a good like opportunity to do something. As an example, as an event, like if I'm gonna make an event, I'm gonna do it on my birthday because I know that all my homies are gonna come on my birthday to celebrate me.
That's a good idea.
You know, if I'm gonna do like maybe, you know, something that I want people to come up, I'm gonna do it on like maybe trying to do the two things at the same time, like an event and also my birthday, right? So you have only a couple. Same thing with like favors, right? You can only ask favors like a couple of times. Once you're that guy that is asking for the favor like for the second or third time, people are like, oh, here comes that guy again asking for me to download his track, right?
Yeah.
So there's only too many times you can like, and otherwise you burn the bridge, right? And I think it's like also a big problem is that most of the people who are like close to us, they know us too well, so they have a pre-expectation of like what to expect from you, or like so like the way like you see them and the way they see you is not the most healthy relationship as like a fan, right? So I think it's really hard to break that, but once you connect with somebody that is not part of your circle of friends, it's way easier for them to actually identify with you and understand like your art because they don't know you as a person.
Right.
So they kind of like only see what you actually, you know, express through your art. So like it's a little bit easier to make them engage, or they get them curious to come and see, right? Because that's the only opportunity they have to talk with Barz is when they go to my show. Like my friends who are part of my circle of friends, they also can just go to my house on a barbecue and hang out with me. So they're like, I don't think I want to go on his show, and I can go, you know, I already seen him the other day. So being able to create that is not easy, you know, and so I kind of like tried sometimes. Sometimes we do events, and you know, it's not the best turnout, but you know what? Maybe there's like 5 people there that came through, and I know that those 5 people that came for my show or for my crew event, they matter way more than 30 of my best friends.
Right.
Because again, they are like a real person that are coming there for your art, not just your friendship, right? And so yeah, I think that's just really hard, you know. And also LA is being very hard for events because there's a lot of like big companies. I don't want to name names right now, but it's just a monopoly of. It's hard to compete, you know. If you're trying like a party, underground party, or a smaller event, there's always so much happening in this town,
right?
You know, so like you're always competing with a big artist with an event that is like, you know, getting maybe stealing not all of your crowd, but like maybe people are like, oh, like, let's go there because from there we can do something else, or like, you know, oh, X, Y, and Z people are going like, let's go to that event,
sure,
or you know, they're even doing like like almost like a pass now. You buy a year pass and can go all their events and stuff. It's
Yeah,
like it's kind of
Jesus.
saturated. And
Wow.
in LA, it is hard as an independent artist because again, people are just spoiled here.
Yeah.
I feel like my experience in Brazil as an artist was way more grateful because you don't have these big artists all the time. Here you go like in the Troubadour and you'll see like a small bar, but you see like this huge artist playing. And you're like,
Yeah.
damn, like yesterday I just saw like whatever,
Yeah.
this huge star. And then tomorrow, oh, let's go on like Barz event, like you know, you
I
just- you know what
yeah.
I mean?
No,
So,
I
like,
mean I hear you.
you know what I
Like
mean? So-
it's people really do act that way. And
Yeah.
it's gotten to the point too where I mean, even me, I used to be like a lone wolf, didn't really have a community of people. And then recently I have, and it's like party after party after party after invite after this. And it's like, it really can just get to be a lot. And you
Yeah.
just have like multiple things at once and you have to choose. And then someone might get upset with you because you chose the one. And it's
Yeah.
just a lot. So I hear you on
Yeah.
that.
You cannot take it personally.
No, you
cannot
can't.
that's why I always say,
Yeah.
my birthday it's like a great day for that. If
Yeah.
you want a big turnaround, there's some few dates in the year that you can choose for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a big tip for artists. If you're gonna do a release, maybe do it on your birthday. If you're gonna, something like that, make sure that your friends are gonna show up. At least most of them.
Yeah, but I will say though, on top of that, people do seem to want community and they
Yeah.
want to have these types of connections and stuff without actually putting in the work of
Yeah.
gaining that community, you
Yeah.
know? So I like on the off side of that, it's also like being supportive and sometimes maybe coming or inconveniencing yourself is part of that.
Yeah.
And so like what would you say is like a big thing that people can do to support artists, especially in the saturated market right now?
Yeah, I think here's the thing with community, right? Especially LA, because there's a lot of blasé, and there's a lot of entitlement. It's like
Right.
Hollywood,
Yeah.
spotlight. Spotlight is on you, or like everyone wants to be famous or wants to show up, or like the egos are very like on it. So I think like it's two things you can say it. The first one with community is that the biggest problem is that everybody wants to be on the guest list.
Right.
Everybody like wants to feel special. When it's like, hey man, if you're going to this huge event, maybe it's okay to be on a guest list.
Sure.
But you're coming to your friend's show. You know that, they're like maybe putting money out of their pocket to rent the sound system for this to happen. Just give them $30. So
Yep.
like, I think that's the first thing. Like if you want, you have to support the community if you want it to exist, right? If you want to be part of this event, like just maybe, get a discount code, but like throw some money in.
Yeah.
Or like, tip the bartender
Yeah.
or show up. So that's very important for the community. Showing up is very important. Or like, helping with the tickets. Help with the tickets, man. It's like it's not gonna change
Yeah.
anything for you, but maybe
Just
your
post
homie,
on your story.
your homie who, post on your story, right? Or
Yeah.
share your artist friend like new track, right?
Mm-hmm.
100%. It's just like the example of the after party, right? Everybody wants to go on the after party, but like, what are you bringing to the after party to actually get invited? Are you
Yeah.
bringing some hot girls with you? Are you bringing some booze at 3 a.m. when everything is closed? Are you the guy with the bottle?
Yeah.
When no one can get booze in this town?
Yeah, you gotta
Are you
contribute.
bringing some party favors? What are you doing? What are
Yeah.
you doing for us? What are
Yeah.
you bringing to this? Are you the DJ? Are you going to actually play some tracks for us? What
Yeah.
are you bringing for the after party? But I want to be in the after party. Why I'm not getting invited? Because of that sense of community. Like, what are you giving it back, right? You don't get invited, or maybe you get invited once and that's it and never again because they know, oh, that homie Ned, don't call him because, he's going to get here with like 5 more dudes
Yeah.
with like nothing on his pockets with no bottle of beer to help the party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like people always, they don't have that gifting mentality or they don't understand that like, hey, for this to happen, you have to actually collaborate to it.
Yeah, you
We all
have to
do it.
contribute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we all have to do it. It's the same thing with music. Everybody wants to be a DJ, but nobody wants to do the hard work of making music.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. It's really hard. You have to put so many hours. I get frustrated as well. I'm like making all these songs and like sometimes I'm like, oh, this is not good. But like, someone got to do it. If you
Yeah.
don't do it, there's no party. If there's no music, there's no festival. There's nothing. And like people, especially now with AI, or even like the advent of technologies and DJs, that's somewhat toxic because it
Right.
makes it too easy sometimes. So people take it for granted. The same thing with LA and having a lot of events. They take it for granted. Like, well, I'm gonna go see this underground stuff if I can see Paris Hilton at the Troubadour for free
Sure.
on the
Yeah.
guest list.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think she plays there, but that was a great example.
I just want to say I totally agree with you in the sense that everybody wants to be special, but the reason why people are special or leaders in community is because they contribute, is because they create events. They curate the experience for people, and some people just want to take rather. And it's a very Burning Man
Yeah.
mentality, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't create that burn. That doesn't happen unless you put in the hard work, unless you do the thing.
Yeah, I guess like there's personality types. I see that in my group of friends, and and we all know like there's always that friend that's like the doer, the guy who's like opened the doors of his house for a party, or the guy who like is making the event and everything. So sometimes like it's okay for you to not have that personality, right? It's
Right.
fine for you not. Sometimes you don't have the space or you don't have the opportunity to do it. But if you're not that guy, you at least you have to do is like be aware of that and like support that as you can, right?
Yeah.
So like, okay, great. Like every time I say if I go on an after party, the first thing I try to do is like, who's the homeowner? Let me come to him and just say thank you for hosting, because like a lot of people just come to your. I throw after parties, and a lot of people come to your place and they're like, don't even know that it's your house. And you know what I mean? They're open the drawers and open the fridge and stuff like that. So like
Yeah.
I think it's just that nuance of understanding at least the basics and like giving it back, right? If you go to a show, man, buy a shirt. Do you like the show? Buy a shirt. Like
Yeah.
if you come to a party, dude, like tip the bartender, give him some cash. Don't give him
something.
some cash. Throw a 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It goes a long way.
Yeah.
Because again, like it's not easy for everybody right now. Everything's super expensive.
Sure.
Like there's a lot of competition, and there's a lot of people trying to do things, and sometimes with the wrong attitude towards it, just towards like ego and money. When they're like, this has never been because of that.
Yeah.
At least the underground and the real grassroots movement of any electronic rock or whatever.
And it's
jazz
also like it's a
community.
$30 shirt. It's like
Yeah.
you can do it. It's a $30 ticket. You can do it. Yes,
Yeah.
the economy sucks. Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
But you can do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, my dad used to say, if you don't have money, don't leave the house.
Yeah. I mean,
but I mean, yes, but no, right? Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean-
I'm always good to cover for a friend. I know, I have a friend that's broke, and like, bro, it's all good. I got you.
Yeah.
Next time you do me, because you don't know how next year is gonna be.
Yeah, absolutely.
I might be the one that's broke, and you're thriving, and you're gonna plug me in. So
absolutely.
there's that part too. Always
Yeah.
look out for your homies.
Yeah, definitely. And so I do want to talk about October 4th.
Yeah.
So we are going to have a release party for
Yes.
you, and where everyone could come together. They can
Yeah.
listen to your song. They can download it all at the same time.
Yep.
I want you to speak on like what does that mean to you, or to like any artist who's trying to make it, or try to make a dent in the saturated market. Like what is that? Yeah, what kind of impact does that make?
For the party, the little release party, I think it's just like getting that dream, making that dream that I had a reality, which is being able to bring the LP to life. So I'm trying to talk with the companies right now, see if we can get that on time.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we can
Yeah.
always push if
Yeah.
there's ever,
No,
the fact is that
I need it.
Yeah.
when you make a deadline
Yeah, no, it's
public,
good.
you make it happen.
Absolutely.
That's how the album is out.
Yeah.
So we'll keep it like that.
Love that.
And so we hopefully that's the whole point for me for Laundry Records, which is the studio and the little label. It's two things I always want to do. First one is try to get the vinyl pressed, even if it's just a few ones for me and my friends to have them, in some shirts. Because I feel when things like become a reality, like you get like a shirt, you got like a CD, or you get like a vinyl press, it becomes a thing. You know,
Yeah.
it's something. It is something. You're gonna remember like maybe in 20 years from now. Oh, remember we had like an LP. Maybe you still have it, and it's the thing.
Yeah.
It's a dent into the scene, and you're like it's a real artist endeavor. Because sometimes with the digital stuff, you just like oh a week goes by, and you're like if you don't see it again on spot on the Instagram, that it's what is it?
Right.
But with a vinyl, like you're gonna find it in your pile of records later, sooner or later. You
Yeah.
know, or like a T-shirt. You know, maybe you wear it. You know,
Yeah,
if you
absolutely.
use it for sleep, you know,
Yeah.
later you're like, oh, this was kind of cool. I
Yeah,
love that show.
exactly.
So like creates a scene. So I think that was two things that I wanted to do. It's like always trying to do shirts and records. If you try to print some records and the event's going to be that. It's just going to be a celebration. Try to get all the homies together. Everyone's actually doing super well right now. All of the artists are part of the album. Are kind of like touring. So we're gonna try to do it on Sunday and kind of like a chill end of the day event. So we can all just like hang out, talk, play the album, maybe DJ a little bit too, play some new
Yeah.
stuff, and just celebrate. You know, take it easy. You know, on Sunday. So that'll be great. August
Yeah.
4th, yeah, come through. You know, and if we
Yeah.
even bring some food, I don't know,
Yeah,
do
why
some
not?
something, some
I
grilled
mean,
cheese.
it'll also be after Burning Man, and it is
Yeah.
called Decompress,
Yes, yes.
right? So if you are a burner, this
There you
is
go.
actually a perfect opportunity to come
That's
and
right.
do that, decompress, be with artists,
Yeah,
and stuff
decompress,
like that.
let it loose a little bit. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be great. That would be a great Sunday of decompression.
Yeah. And also I am curious. I don't know if you know about this or not, but if there are a bunch of people, say there's like 100 people that show up, let's just say,
Yeah.
you know, and if they all download your album all at once, does that do anything on Spotify?
I guess so.
Or would you say like it
I
helps?
guess we have to ask the lords of the algorithm.
Yeah.
I don't have.
I'm like, I would
Yeah,
assume it would be
I think so. Yeah,
helpful,
it will help.
right?
That
Yeah.
definitely will. I think anything that probably shows, you know, that there's some intent and some
Mm-hmm.
group effort definitely doesn't go unnoticed by the
Yeah.
lords of AI.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what the machine is there for,
Yeah.
right? To learn about me and you, but actually don't feel anything.
Yeah. And I can speak also on the notion of you creating shirts and stuff. I went to like a girl punk band when I was living in Spain, and I got one of their shirts, and I wore it to like a coffee event or something. And I think like 10 people, something, all commented on my shirt because it was a really cool shirt. And they all like downloaded their music and
There you go.
stuff. And I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't do anything. I just wore the shirt. And so
Yeah.
I think that's also kind of going back to what you were saying about how we support our friends or our artists. Wear the shirt in public.
Yeah, wear the
Like,
shirt.
you know, yes, it's probably, some could probably be something you wear to sleep, but
Yeah.
you know, it's
no.
a
I mean,
good-
after a while, you know.
Yeah.
It becomes like
yeah,
something
after a
goes
while.
into the.
But I mean, you don't have to wear the shirt every
But yeah.
day.
But yeah, it's just like stickers. I
Yeah.
always
Yeah,
have
stickers.
stickers. So I always give it like 2 to people. And like they say, oh, put it in my water bottle. I was like, yeah, the next one you put it in the next public bathroom you go. 'Cause that's when people actually have time to read stuff. So I was like putting my stickers on bathrooms.
Smart.
So that's the thing.
smart.
So like
Okay.
so stickers, shirts. That's kind of like stuff that I kind of just. Thinking back, when I had the band, I was like, what were some kind of cool stuff that we did it that I don't do it anymore?
Yeah.
It's like, we don't print records. We don't have, before we had like CDs and cassette tapes. And like, I don't do merch. I got to do
Yeah.
merch,
Yeah.
And, I got to have some stickers. So it's just like, kind of like, just like I said, it makes a scene. It creates a dent into the universe. It doesn't become just like some digital, dust
Yeah.
that showed up in the screen of your cell phone or
Yeah.
something.
I forgot the actual
Yeah.
number, but it was something like over like 100,000, maybe even more songs get loaded onto Spotify
Yeah,
like
it's
a
nuts.
day. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, it was actually funny for me with the band. A funny story about that was when we stopped playing. There was no Spotify. There was none of that. And a couple of years ago, our albums all got uploaded by our label, and we're like, wait a minute, there's like over 300,000 plays on these songs, and we're like, that's crazy. Like when we made these songs, this not even existed, streaming not even existed, but we still have the albums, and a lot of people still have the album. So it's kind of like the opposite, like this was kind of like re-upload it because gotta put it there. It's kind of cool to have it.
Yeah.
But it was like the opposite of that, and that's why I was like, you know what? I think I still gotta like try to make a few albums, even if it's like
Yeah.
20, 50 vinyls. It's gonna do it because
Yeah.
you never know.
It's also
The
great.
the grid might go out forever.
Yeah.
You can still listen to my album.
Yeah, exactly. If a blackout happens
That's
or
right.
something,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah. The data
Well, I guess you
center
still
use
need-
all of our electricity. You can still play my record.
Yeah, there you go. And so let's just say like someone who is, an upcoming artist or someone who's like trying to do this and they're listening to this podcast and they're like, I don't know where to start. What would your number one advice be to them?
Yeah, that's easy. Just do it every day.
Yeah.
That's it. The people trying to put tutorials out there like how to do this, how to do that. Dude, there's no tutorial. Just freaking do it, dude. Like sit your ass down on the chair, open Bableton, and get to work. There is no shortcuts. I still suck. I used to suck. Sometimes I surf some wave in the universe and I make some cool music, but I do it every day. That's it. There's no secret.
Yeah.
Just do it every day. The part of distributing the music, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's like maybe not for me, but but the music part, there's no shortcut. That's my
Right.
best advice. Just sit down, turn off your cell phone, just make music, and finish your music. Finish your music and put it out, even if it's not the best. You're your own worst enemy when you judge yourself. So, if you party enough, if you danced enough, and you know what fucks, if it's good for you, it will be good for a lot of people. So trust yourself, trust your vibe, and do it every day. That's it.
Wow. I love it. Oh my gosh. And
That's right.
so as we start to come to a close, is there anything that you think that I missed or something you would like to talk about?
No, I think did a very good job, a really good conversation. Yeah, thank you for having me, Kyle.
Yeah.
Kylie, sorry.
It's okay. It's
not-
Kyle, but it's all
It's
good.
not my first language.
It's fine. It's fine.
You guys have to understand what happens inside of this. It's
No.
a constant translation all the time.
No, trust me. I
Yeah.
speak Spanish also.
Yeah,
and
with
so
the
that's-
dreams too. When sometimes I dream in English. That took a couple of years. That was
Alright.
a crazy one.
You're
to
like,
me.
what?
What's going on? What in language are we speaking? It's just
Right.
telepathy.
Yeah. That's funny.
But yes, thank you for having me. It was really amazing to be here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk a little about myself, my art, my music, and please go check out my stuff. Check out my album Decompress. Check out my SoundCloud. SoundCloud, there's a lot of like different remixes and stuff that I cannot upload on Spotify. There's like some nice little mixtapes there. You can put it when you go to the gym, when
Yeah.
you're cooking, when you're walking your dog.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so you said Spotify, all these things. How can they find you? Like, what is the
it's
name?
me
What
Barz
is-
everywhere. It's me
Me Barz.
Barz. That's right. It's me Barz and anywhere.
Yeah.
You just put it in. It's me Barz with a Z.
There you
with
go.
a Z. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta have something a little different.
Well, and it'll all be linked below.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for being
Yeah.
here. October 4th is when you'll do your release
Yep.
party.
Here I come.
So if you are a friend of his, come. If you aren't, come. If
Please
you're a
come.
burner,
Be my
come.
friend.
There's nothing you can lose in this. So
Yeah, come be my friend.
Yeah.
Just come up. I'll give you a big hug.
Yeah.
And we'll hang out. And then
Perfect.
you can be on the guest list the next one.
well,
That's
thank you
right.
again.
All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.